His calf muscles there, and then Zamri Dahan is the striker who could come on and replace Khairul Zaman Hamir Akbar if Khairul isn't putting away the points at the net. But we're a long way away from that at the moment. It's Japan who are going to get us underway with Daishi Tamaki to serve the first point. And it's a great service. An absolute bullet. He was nervous in the first match, but there he fired an absolute bullet at Shahir Rozdi. Big tall Shahir Rozdi, 1m89, a mere 18 years old. Very much the future of the game. We've seen him once before in ISTAF competition. We'll see how he fares today. A little bit later on, it'll be his turn to serve after 3 points. First point was a service winner for Daishi Tamaki, the second one into the net. And if it goes into the net, you don't get a second bite at the cherry, so it's already 1-all. The toss from Toshitaka Naito. And unfortunately for Daishi Tamaki, after that great start, it's a double fault, and a double fault loses you 2 points in Sepak Takraw. We now swap over, and we'll see how Shahir Rozdi responds to the challenge. He too sends his first shot, first service into the net. So he's 0 for 1. He played well in the group stages of the ISTAF Super Series finals that were held in Kuala Lumpur in March of this year. Played very well up until the final, and then seemed to be a little bit overawed when he faced the Thais in the final. Looking a little bit overawed here. Needs to get into a rhythm as soon as possible. Khairul Zaman tosses the ball. Well, we had a double fault from Japan. We've had a single, double, triple fault there from Malaysia. It's a 3-for for Japan. 3 for 3 on the opposition service. And poor Shahir Rozdi has got off to the worst possible start. The save, the set, and the spike. The first real exchange to speak of. Good service came over, but was saved and set by Shazrin Kamar, and then put away at the net by Khairul Zaman. Only 1m70, not the tallest of strikers. Saved and set once again. This time it was Khairul Zaman who did the saving in the setting. Shazrin Kamar nodded it back over the net. Caught the Japanese off balance. Great defensive work from the striker. And a wonderful header from Shazrin Kamar, who's the smallest player on the court at the moment, at 1m68, but he leapt above that 1m55 net to get his team back level. And after a 3-for, an unconventional 3-for for Japan on a triple fault from Shahir Rozdi, it's a 3-for for Malaysia. So the pressure back on Shahir Rozdi's 18-year-old shoulders as he shows exactly where he wants the ball. Gets one over. Is he going to get his first point? It's going to be desperation thing to keep it alive. Shazrin Kamar. That's a poor set from Shazrin Kamar. The point goes to Malaysia in the end. Shazrin Kamar looking a bit sheepish there. He's usually one of the best setters and feeders in the game. But he punted that one back over the net on the first touch, and in the end, Japan taken by surprise. Shahir Rozdi has his first point on service. That will be a second. And when this man gets his eye in, he is a real weapon from the Tekong circle. We see that fired down the outside. Nothing that Ikimito, the Japanese captain, could do about that. 69 kilometers per hour. I think that's the fastest service we've seen so far at the tournament. Tournament only 6 games old, but that was still a pretty good mark, and that one was a quick one as well. So Shahir Rozdi, after a terrible start, 0 for 3, 3 faults, 2 great services in a row. He's targeting Ikimito out to the right. 69 kilometers per hour on the second service, 67 on the third one there. He's got his eye in now. Ooh, could have left that one, but decided to take it. The Khairul. Well, he decided to take that, Khairul Zaman. Kept it in. Shazreen Kamar then set it up for him. But Khairul Zaman's work at the net, we'll see it here on the replay. He touches the net on the way down. Or does he go over the net? No, he touches the net on the way down. And you're not allowed to touch the net. Shazreen Kamar sets it up for Khairul Zaman. And that's a combination we're going to be hearing a lot of today, Friday, Saturday and Sunday into the finals, I would have thought. Malaysia will be hoping at the very least to make the semi-finals. It's quite a tough Group A that they find themselves in, but they will be hoping to beat Singapore and Japan at the very least. The other team in the group will cause them some problems though. Korea, the only team not named Thailand to have won an ISTAF competition. They won the opening tournament of the 2013-2014 season in Delhi, beating Thailand in the quarterfinals. Oh, look at that. An absolutely excellent spike there from Toshitaka Naito. I do believe that is his first spike of the match so far. 10-6, and that's the first time that the Japanese striker gets on the board. But that was a great spike, back from mid-court. Shahir Rosdi lost his radar. When you're that tall, and Shahir Rosdi is 1.89 m and is only 18, so hasn't finished growing yet, it's quite difficult to get the right angle. If the angle's not acute enough, it'll fly out beyond the baseline. Too acute and it'll hit the net. Curls that one down into Ikimito's midriff. Ikimito keeps it alive with all three touches. Shazreen Kamar sets, and it's put away by Khairul Zaman for his, I think that's his fourth spike so far. Beautiful set there from Shazreen Kamar, as calm as ever. Great service fired in there from Daishi Tamaki, but the Malaysian defense was up to the challenge and they saved, set and spiked. Are we going to give Khairul Zaman the credit for that? It was a deft little touch there that avoided the block with the toes. 1, 2, 3, save, set, spike. That is the way you do it. Saved by the Tekong, set up by the feeder and spiked by the killer, as they like to call the striker in Malaysia, at the net. Always such poise from Shazreen Kamar. We see him set himself with his hands as he sets the ball up to get perfect balance, and a great spike at the net. Another one goes into the net from Daishi Tamaki. He's serving below 50% at the moment, 4 for 9. Mind you, Shahir Rosdi is 4 for 8 after that triple fault in his opening set. So, Khairul Zaman with the toss. Shahir Rosdi waits for the ball to come to him. He has to make the most of any toss that is given to him. He can't refuse the toss. It's not like in tennis. If you don't like the toss, you start again. You can't do that in Sepak Takraw. And obviously there are two people involved, the feeder or striker and the Tekong. And if it's not all absolutely perfect, then it goes wrong. Both Tekongs 4 for 9 at the moment. Shahir Rosdi goes up to 5 for 10 as he gets the encouragement of team manager Yusuf bin Ali. Jamaluddin not the coach anymore, as we see Toshitaka Naito booting into the courtside referee's table there. Nguyen having to take evasive action. And poor Toshitaka Naito is spending more time over by the courtside referee's table there than he is actually on court. And once again we see Nguyen having to make sure he doesn't take a ball around the chops. 73 kilometers per hour now. That is a fast service. 76 is the quickest we've ever seen, but Shahir Rosdi is getting quicker and quicker. Excellent spike at the net there from Khairul Zaman. Excellent in that it got past a two-man block. Quite often you see one striker stretching out a leg, but there the striker and the Tekong came up to the net and tried to block it with the back. You can touch the ball with any part of the body except the hands and the arms, so the back is allowed. And double blocking is a good tactic. Didn't come off on this occasion. Something else that didn't come off and hasn't been coming off are the services of Daishi Tamaki. 5 for 11. 6 points given away. Make that 7. 5 for 12, and you've got a feel for the big man here. Quite surprising that Japan haven't made a substitution. They have Masahiro Yamada on the bench, who could come on. They've decided to go with a youngster, living and dying with him, and they're dying with him at the moment. Great service from Shahir Rosdi. That was surely around the 65, 66 mark. Fired in once again to the right. He's a right-footed Tekong, but he doesn't curl it around to the left-hand side of the opposition. He hits it directly to the right. And Ikimito is the one trying to combat that at the moment. 12 set points for Malaysia. The first one on the Shahir Rosdi service goes into the net. Shahir Rosdi will have a second bite at the cherry to try and finish this off. And Tekong to double fault. That puts him back down to 50%. A very poor Tekonging. Well, we've seen the good, the bad and the ugly from the Tekongs in this first set. Some very good stuff from Shahir Rosdi mixed in with some very poor stuff, and unfortunately it's been more poor serving than good from Daishi Tamaki, the number 4 for Japan.